Boys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to be breaking down a mastermind event. I just came back from Miami. It was an awesome experience. Definitely a long weekend. I'm running on like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I want to break down everything I learned and give you guys actionable stuff that I learned from 7-8-figure entrepreneurs, not only in the personal development and the fitness space, but how to literally go about goal setting and how to kind of like optimize your success at, I think, at such a faster speed. So I want to give you guys all the golden nuggets I learned and essentially hope you guys get to, be in that best version of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and, whatever categories these kind of fall in. So let's get right into it, guys. It's been an awesome weekend, but it's been extremely draining. But, there are key essential golden nuggets that I really took away from this weekend that I think could really help anyone listen to this because, it's all about getting the access to the right information. But once you have the right information, it's about how you apply that information to your life to make yourself better. And that was, one of the things I've severely struggled with: information overload, analysis paralysis, productive procrastination along my journey. And I've used certain metrics to kind of like take this information and apply it to my life to kind of fast track my growth. And one of the things they talked about was, having a great circle around you. And I think a lot of people struggle with this because I was guilty of this in myself in the beginning of my journey, was that I was surrounding myself with negativity, people who didn't see my goals and ambitions and essentially just wanted, something from me. I know everyone thinks that like you hang out with this person so you can get this person or you can get this thing from that person. You know what I meant. But that was one of the things that really stuck with me because I look at like my journey and like obviously, the more you go into your journey, your personal development, mindset, everything around that, your circle gets smaller and smaller. And the people you surround yourself in that circle is so important because these are, the thoughts, the things you're going to be exposed to, the things you're going to be listening to every single day. And if it's essentially filled with crap, it's only going to, essentially hold your success to that level of where, you're listening to, you're acting with, what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis. So your circle is so important. And one of the follow-up questions I kind of had on this was essentially, how do you get your circle? How do you get like-minded people around you who want to do the same thing, goals and ambitions? And one of the things that really I took away from this was essentially putting yourself in an environment for success, being extremely uncomfortable, taking risks and taking opportunity yourself. Because when you do this, you kind of alleviate another perspective of yourself that is going after something that's very scary, it's very fearful. But that stimulates the most growth because the most growth is stimulated with like being extremely uncomfortable. And that offers you new opportunity to meet people, to talk about certain things, to be exposed to different conversations, to, chase different experiences. And you never know what's going to dwell or essentially happen from that experience because you're putting yourself in an opportunity to succeed. The worst thing, that could happen is that you're back in the same spot, which, if you're not happy in the same spot, then, no problem. You're literally just back there. But the upside is like infinite because you don't know what could happen. So surrounding yourself with, like-minded people who really, chase or see your vision of yourself and want to be better every single day was like one of the, it was like across the board for every single speaker that I had. So that was definitely a key takeaway. Point number 2 essentially was making sure that you are giving yourself the tools to success. And this was all, literally, I guess monetized around mentorship because I think the biggest misconception when you start your journey is that you know everything. It's just a matter of time before everything falls into place, or you're essentially it's free online. I think those are like the big 3 that I know that comes to my head, and then a couple other people touching these points. But having a mentor really speeds up your timeline success because you're getting a well-established blueprint. But the thing with mentorship that I think is very tricky to understand is that like you need to do your homework, you need to do your due diligence, you need to make sure the guy that you essentially want to have is one step ahead of you and he's built the model or he's built the end result. Maybe he has your physique, maybe he has your mindset, maybe he has your nutrition, maybe he has a personal development, maybe he has your relationships, the network, whatever it is, he has that result right there and he's one step ahead of you. He can kind of show you that framework on how he did that. That was something I really took away with because every part of the stage of your personal development journey, you should have a mentor because it's only going to fast track your growth. I'm not saying have 40 different mentors for, 40 different things. No, you should have a mentor who has a dream result and you can honestly get the right blueprint for you to kind of go step by step. And that was something that every single one, what they talked about was that like mentorship gives them the ability to, fast track their growth, speedline their timeline to success, and to essentially be the best version of themselves a lot quicker. And when you take all 3 of those things right there, now you're giving yourself a step-by-step process to be successful in what you're doing and not just to roll your time away. And just thinking about everything that I kind of like, I'm just reflecting on it, because it's so, the experience was so recent, was that like everyone's story was so different, so unique. Everyone had humbles, beginnings, essentially. No one had it perfect, but the key thing that every single person had was being delusional optimistic, being, just having the confidence in myself, it's going to work out regardless of what it was, and just not giving up. Those three variables right there, just, dwell something in your mind, or stimulate something in your mind that whatever you're going to do, it's going to work out. You're so delusional optimistic, it's going to work out. And that character trait is so important for yourself in the journey of this. If it's unlocking your dream body, if it's unlocking your mindset, if it's unlocking your nutrition, because your nutrition is the energy to be your best self every single day. Whatever it is over there, you have to give yourself the ability to literally think that it's going to work. It's going to, happen. It's just a matter of time. And if you're not confident in yourself, how do you expect other people to be confident in you that you could deliver the result you're saying for yourself? It's going to be really extraordinary. It's going to be extremely, frustrating because you don't even believe in yourself. So why would other people believe in you? When you have the confidence in yourself and you can stem that confidence day in, day out, every single day, and keep on building that momentum, then there's no reason why you're not going to get there. And that was, point number 2 on what really, I guess like was really drilled in my head, was that like, no one has to believe in you. No one has to have your vision in your mind. But if you're so, determined, you see that, that end result so vividly in your mind, then it doesn't matter what other people think. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And the third thing, guys, is, I think, honestly, like taking those 2 things right there, I think really changed my perspective on a lot of things. But I think the third thing kind of stems from just really having good relationships. And this is something that I think is personal that I'm looking at this trip, is that like, you look at people who have, I think financially this is kind of, stems from this, because I saw it from like a bird's eye view being down in Miami. It's just like, your relationships are so important. And if you don't have people who truly believe in you, this kind of stems from an earlier point of like, obviously talking about mentorship, having a good circle, but like your relationships with people and how you kind of treat people, how you go about like, really getting a bond between like someone who's like, has your goals, has your ambitions, has your visions, who's someone you could talk to. Because the journey, guys, in personal development, in mindset, in fitness, and nutrition, especially those categories, is extremely tough and grueling. It's cyclical. It's going to go up and down. But if you could have really good relationships going forward, and you could really build your foundation, yet again, like if you have negativity around you, then probably the relationships you shouldn't be chasing. But if you had people who essentially align with everything you do, your relationships go so much farther than you think. Because guys, just being down there, I just feel like a lot of people use you for certain things, which is fair to say. It's Miami. Like everyone's going to use someone for something. But if you could have like 2 or 3 or 4 people that you could literally rely on day and night, that is so far ahead of the game of everyone else. Because essentially, like, people only look out for what's best with them if you're not your boys. That's just how it works. Like, no one's going to, like, essentially be like, oh, Joe, like, you need this? It's not how it works. But if your buddy is like one of those 4 people who's so close with you, who will do anything for you, they'll do that for you. And that's something that really stuck with me. Again, like the third point was that, apologies, I don't know, my phone like kind of freaked out. But that was something that really, really, really showed me that like your relationships mean everything. You hear all the time, like your relationships are like the most important thing, because if you screw someone over or you do something that essentially is just like, you're just burning a bridge and you need that bridge to come back, it ain't happening. Your relationships are everything. And it honestly tests your character, your work ethic, your discipline, your structure, who you are as a person, your identity, everything. And if you keep on burning your bridges, if you're like, yet again, guys, like I'm saying, like if you have negativity in your life, if people who don't surround yourself with where you're going, yeah, burn that bridge. But the few bridges you don't want to burn are people who actually have your aligned goals. Because guys, as you progress, it's going to be very lonely. When you have 1 or 2 people to lean on in those times and to really talk to and kind of like, really, really talk to. Like you can share anything with them. I know, what I'm saying, like anything that goes so much longer or farther than you think, because it is, it's lonely. That's fine. But if you could have 1 or 2 people to really, just bounce ideas off, to get a different perspective, to kind of, just literally talk as a human, it goes so much farther than you think. And those 3 things I think really are the the things that I kind of walked away with this weekend and really gave me a new perspective on. So guys, like I said, it was a 1K Miami Mastermind I dropped for the weekend. I hope some of the stuff that I learned from, 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs that, doing really well. But like I said, like, it's not about that. It's about like how you could take information, apply it to yourself, and make yourself better from it, and not take mental masturbation or productive procrastination tactics, because it's not going to get you anywhere. So again, guys, I hope this video gave you something that was a new light. Like I said, Miami was awesome. It was a great experience, but it's Miami. It's fake. So with that being said, guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope I gave you stuff that, you could really take away with and really honestly just apply to your life. And I think those 3 things were something that, honestly, if I didn't invest in myself and go down there in Miami, I probably wouldn't have seen it from that lens. But seeing it from this lens now, it's very vivid, it's very clear. So I hope it's the same way for you guys. So again, guys, let's get to work. Let's absolutely crush our personal development goals, fitness, mindset, nutrition, whatever it is. We're going to go and be our best selves this year, because there's no excuses. So again, guys, I'll see you in another video on the channel. Peace.